Welcome back to our second session. So we have close to around 109. Still people are joining in. So welcome back. I hope you had a good and amazing learning experience, specifically what last time we covered, which is identifying the problem, and you must have filled in your problem statement canvas. Quickly, let us see what have we covered last time. Before we go, today's session is about putting your customers first. And of course, the problem that we have identified, we mentioned that everything that has to be for our customers. And you must have identified, and also as a homework, I have asked that please go through who is your customer and how to identify those customers. And there are a couple of questions. How should I reach out to these customers? What should I talk? How should I talk? And all that we are going to cover today. By end of the session, you will be able to identify different ways to how to identify your customer and how to interact with them and creating something more valuable which customers need or their want. That is something that at the end of the session you will be able to identify, and you will be able to do that. Okay, but let's quickly do what we have discussed last time. We have discussed 4 questions. Is my idea good enough? Every entrepreneur, they think, is my idea good enough? Will I have enough customers who will buy? Because if your idea is great, but there are no customers, chances are there it is not going to be really, really effective. Will I make enough money? Because I have a lot of tractions. I have great product. I think I have a couple of customers, but I am not earning money. Makes no sense. Then the fundamental principle of business, that you don't have any money, is not going to be helpful. Okay, so that is something, that question that every entrepreneur they have in their mind. And how do I get started? Everything is fine. I know my idea is good. I have customers and I know how to make money, but trust me, how do I start? These are the 4 questions that we started with. And based on that, what we had discussed generating ideas and identifying opportunities. Can anyone tell on chat that how there was a picture that was shown and Paco emphasized, guys, what do you see in this particular picture? Can anyone write on the chat? Let me look into the chat. Cow. Yes, not cows, only one cow. Only cow amongst the trash. That's absolutely right, Aryan. Cow, dustbin, parts, absolutely great. Okay, come back. So what does it mean? Because you look for something and then you identify, okay, there is a kind of some opportunity is lying there, and let's grab those opportunities. And also, Paco last time mentioned, looking at that particular picture, discussing the similar stuff in our previous cohorts, he has started something related to the cow. Can anyone remember that? Could you respond on your chat? Paco mentioned that he has started something. Okay, Ajit, you are absolutely right. Composting, vermicompost. Exactly. Aritra, you are absolutely right. Dipshika, correct. This is vermicompost. That is something. Okay. He has started and now. So look. If by taking this session, looking at that particular picture and also observing, if he can think of, all of us are thinking. So there are ideas, there are opportunities that we need to just look for and then see whether I am able to connect to that and gaining a deeper understanding of the problems. Are there ideas are fine? Then what he really came up, because initially when all of us, we have some idea, but it boils down to whether there are enough people are to take the solution. Idea means we are talking about a solution. for something which is called a problem for the customers, and those customers are enough. Do we know those problems are real problems, or it is I felt it, or it is only I and my few friends we felt it? Is that all? That is something different understanding of the problem. So is it a bigger problem? And hence we created a problem. We discussed about the problem statement canvas, and which was a first point, so that will give you more clarity in terms of what are the problems, who is it for, what is there any alternatives, and all these discussions that has happened in our problem statement canvas. Okay. And this is what we have discussed, and I believe you might have gone through the explainer as well as the example which is in the tutorials, which is there on our web page, which is there on our platform. If I had shown you once again, let me show you concept. And if you go to the concept, session 1 concept, because this is session 1 concept, if you go down, this is the framework tutorials. Every session there will be some framework tutorials, and those tutorials will take you through all the explainer video, or how to fill those template using a particular example. And that example we discussed, we will talk about the mom's pizza example while filling it up. This the entire story about what we have learned in our previous session. Now, is there any question till such time? Is there any question from your end? Problem statement canvas, were you able to fill problem statement canvas? Okay, where to submit? Where should I submit? No, you don't have to submit problem statement canvas. Submission part we are going to talk about. It is idea pitch. Yeah, thank you, Smriti. Idea pitch that is going to be opened. We'll let you know after today's session. So your problem statement canvas. Today, there are certain other templates that we are going to talk about in our customers, identifying the customers. All this put together, you need to go for idea pitch that we are going to talk in detail in the later part of our session. Okay. Those are last day of idea pitch submissions, everything that we can discuss now. I am just asking, have you been able to do yes, no, quickly? Ethan says yes, he was able to do it. Yes. Okay. Good. Very good. Okay. So now I will hand it over to Paco. Paco, people have identified, they remember the cow, they remember what venture have you started, and now they are ready to identify their customers. Okay. Over to you, Paco. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Guys, just a second. I believe Paco is facing some problem. Where is the simulation? Please send the link. Said simulation is in the platform itself. There is a button. There is a button called simulation. Go to the platform. It is there, and the simulation, entire simulation is there in detail format so that you can play around. Okay. So just a second. I believe Paco is facing some issue. Let me quickly fix it up for him. Hi, Paco. Now you are able to unmute yourself and
yeah, hi. I'm sorry. Murphy's law, when technology is supposed to help, it just goes off completely. Yeah. So sorry. Where were we, Chandan? Till what?
So, Paco, we have done the quick recap. So they know what picture we showed. Okay, they know cow with the dustbin. They came up with the idea. Also, they remember what triggered what kind of venture that you started. Looking at those ventures in our previous cohort when you were taking the session, that also they remember, and they have also filled in the problem statement canvas. Many of them, they were able to do that. Now they're all set to know how are they going to get to know more about their customers. And also we had given the customers, given the task to them as a homework, that please identify who is your customer and all those stuff. So
okay, all right. Okay, great. So Chandan, also, there are a lot of people who are constantly in the waiting room. So please keep that window open so that, I just allowed about 18 or 20 people. So either you should do it or someone else should do it.
Yeah, I'm just
right. So guys, thanks a lot for, waiting it out. So first of all, did you enjoy the last session? And be honest in terms of giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down in your chat box. And if there are any suggestions, you can continue to send it. All right, because the whole idea is that how do we go ahead and get the oomph into the entire process of enterprise creation. Right? So while you're giving your thumbs ups, Chandan, kindly keep a lookout if there is someone who has who's not liked it or something, then we should specifically try to find out as to what are those areas that we need to improve upon. Okay, and this, my dear friends, is an integral part of the entire entrepreneurial journey. Sometimes you will call it validation, sometimes you will call it, taking feedback, but this is something which will always be there. Okay? So without any further ado, let's just very quickly jump into our session. And why am I share the screen? Yes, I have it. So to
Paco, you may disable the
disable what? So then what do you want to disable? What do you want me to disable?
The internet part. We don't want people to ascribe.
Yeah, so that is,
click on the more and you will find that.
Keep on accepting people inside the still waiting. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay. So today is the second session. You've already gone through the recap of what was done last time. Okay. Now you had also gone ahead and identified one out of the 4 ventures that was given to you, and I said that the whole exercise of learning out here is through the simulation, through your own ventures, through the process of your own practice or project venture that you've gone ahead and sort of taken up, and through the examples which Raj shows on the video, okay, and example that I will go ahead and share from my own personal experiences. Okay, so all of this will go ahead and help create the entire learning experience. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so Chandan has talked about the thing that putting your customers first. All right, how to validate your problem with them is what we're going to focus upon. Okay, we just to reiterate, Chandan would have said that remember these are the 4 questions which are there in the mind of every entrepreneur, or every entrepreneur who's starting. So in fact, if you don't have these questions in your mind, that means probably you need to, spend some more time in terms of thinking what you really want to do. Okay, because these are the 4 questions which came into my mind even before I learned entrepreneurship or I learned how to teach entrepreneurship. It came into my mind even when I was 15, when I started with my first venture. Okay, and so it's very important that you have that in place. Then, of course, Chandan didn't talk about the recap, so we're going to skip that. Problem statement canvas is something which you guys have done. All right, so yeah, you would have done that. Okay. Then what will we cover today? Okay, and he might have also touched upon this in terms of what are the customer segments that we're looking at, and we look at what is customer segment and what are the customer segments that we're looking at. How do we understand our potential customers better? Potential customers, sometimes they say prospects, but yes, potential customers better. Am I solving the right problem for the right customer? So while we've gone ahead and seen the cow, all right, and we figured out that there's a problem, okay, but that problem is from my perspective. If it's from my perspective, then I am the customer segment that you're referring to, and therefore that is you yourself are. Now the question out here is that are you the customer segment, or have you identified someone else or something else, all right, or some other persona to be the customer segment that you're in? Okay, so and if that has been identified, the question is that are you solving the right problem? It's not just about solving the problem; it's solving the right problem for the right customer. Okay, so that problem to customer, that fit is very, very important, because unless you have that, you will not be able to be sharp and laser focused towards your customers. So today we've got a lot of things to cover. So I'll not be as leisurely as I was last time, but you should keep on asking questions, because Chandan is taking a note of all the questions, and I'm sure he'll find out a way to respond to you, to tell you that what the answers are. Okay. So so what do you think who do you think will be the customers, all right, in terms of the simulation? So in case of simulation, all right, you've gone ahead and figured out. So one of the things that is there is that we are talking about these two, the boy and the girl, all right, who have identified certain problems with regards to regards to healthcare and beauty products and stuff like that. Okay. Now, who do you think will be their customers? And you've also made a choice that with that venture is that you're going to go the e-com route. Okay, so you believe that is the route that you want to take. You never wanted to take the retail route. I mean, some of you went ahead and did make that choice. I think it was 12% of you, but 88% of you went ahead and said that we will go ahead and take the e-com route. Okay, so out here, majority wins. So obviously we've gone ahead and seen that the e-com venture is e-com route is what we're going to take. Now, it's important to understand another thing from this exercise. Okay, see, when you're working in a team, you will always have different kind of people with different kind of thoughts, right? You will have people who would say, let's go this way, and you will probably say, let's go this way. Okay. The question out here is, and this is what I do in my day job as well, and I've always done it for a very, very long time. I've also told my bosses. So in case you get a boss sometime or you become the boss sometime, you should keep this in mind. See, when you are in the room, okay, you can fight till cows come on decisions, on policies, on which way to go, which paths to take. And you may be having a different viewpoint than others in the room, which is okay, which is very healthy. But at the end of the day, before you move out of the room, you should have decided which path as a team you're taking. Whichever path has been chosen, if it is not in line with what you had, you still need to stick by it, because as a team, you need to represent one decision. not a doubt. So please keep this in mind. This will be of very, very big use. Okay. So when you are in the room, you fight tooth and nail, okay, on the options available on the table. But once you've decided, when you go out, you own that decision. You should not go ahead and say that, the team's decision is that we should take route A. However, if you ask me, I think we should take route B. The moment you do that, you are creating a crack in the trust system of the team. And that, my dear friends, is one of the biggest issues which a lot of, startups come across. Okay. So just keep that in mind. It's very, very important that you keep that. Now, let's do a very quick chat activity. Go on to your chat, all right, and very quickly write down, with regards to that beauty company that we were referring to, keeping in mind an e-commerce environment that you have chosen to take, all right, who would possibly be your customers? Very quickly on the chat. Yeah. So, Chandan, are people responding on the chat?
Not yet, guys. Please respond.
Please go ahead and
put
in your answers. It's important because see, we're building a picture. So we're building a picture in your mind. That picture is the one which will teach you to, take decisions in times to come.
Okay, Paco, there is people are a little confused with the, I think, with the question. They're requesting you to repeat the question once again.
Okay, all right. So what we are referring to is, you remember, we were talking about a simulation last year. And the simulation was all about this boy and a girl who had noticed some issues or problems in the field of beauty, right? Now, while we were trying to analyze their problem and we went through their problem statement canvas, we went ahead and said that the way in which we are going to solve this problem is that we are going to go, one of the features is that we're going to go the e-com route. Okay. So now if it is the e-com route, then who do you think will be your customers?
Yeah.
That is the question.
People are responding. I believe they got before you could finish. So many of them are saying it is 18 to 35, 18 to 40, working ladies, young people from 15 years till what? What is the definition of 15 years above? Need to define. People from 18 to 23. Okay. People aged between 17 to 30. Majority of them are 70 to 30.
I'm looking at that. Chandan.
Yeah.
So the thing is that even if you did not decide upon, even if it was not your choice, e-com was not your choice, now you're part of the game. As a team, we said we will move with 88, what 88% people said that they would move forward with, which is to say that we go by the e-com route. So now let's start thinking about it. Let's start putting in. I've looked at your responses. A lot of responses are coming in. Yeah. The funny part is that in the choices that you've made, it is a little broad, okay, and it's a little wide. Undoubtedly, my 10-year-old daughter is not a part of your persona, and I am not a part of your persona. So that's okay. So I now know it is between the ages of 15 and about 35. We are talking about it. Now, why is it important that why did I get you to do the chat activity? I got you to do the chat activity because that is the reality. The reality is that you will have, amongst your founders and core team and so on and so forth, you will have variety of responses when it comes to who is going to be our customer segment. That's a reality. Okay. And in some cases, you have a very, the enterprise is such that you have a very specific focused, customer segment. But when you have, beauty product, which is a little wider and there's a lot of awareness, then you'll have a very wide and very long list of, your customer profiles. For example, in my vermicomposting business, okay, the customer persona or the customer, who do I think will be the customer is basically neighboring farmers, or even if they're not neighboring, but they're farmers, or I will go ahead and sell it in the mandi, or I will go ahead and retail it if I go by the e-com route to, a whole bunch of women in the cities, tier 1, tier 2, or in terms of economics, we say SEC, SLB, SEC, kind of, three categorizations of cities who are staying in, buildings, apartments, and they want to do that, or they have gardening that they want to do and stuff like that, right? But very focused. I can go ahead and tell you that there are 3 of them. But when it comes to beauty products, it's pretty wide. It is as wide as the customer persona that I have for my, desert venture, okay, or for my cafe venture, okay. So these are various ventures that I'm working on. So there are a whole lot of things. In fact, you will see how these decisions will fine-tune the way that you're going to go out on the market. Okay, good. So let's move forward with that. The learning from this is as many number of mouths, those many number of people that we think will be the customers. But what we need to do is we need to go ahead into the depths to figure out, which kind of customers are we going to target. All right, people may be buying, but whom are you going to target? Okay, so who is the customer? Okay. So those who will use our product or service, they are our customers. Who will pay us? They are our customers. What are their needs and wants? Okay, so needs and wants are 2 different things. If you don't know, refer to Sri Google. All right, they'll tell you the difference between need and want. Need is what you need. You need air to breathe and to stay alive. All right, what you want is you may want a Hayabusa. Okay, or you may want to buy the Harley David X440. Okay, but those are wants. But needs are that you need to go from point A to point B. You need your 2 legs. You need some kind of transportation. Yeah? You need air to breathe. And similarly, there are a lot of needs. And needs are not just certain physiological or psychological or bare basic foundation need. There could be other needs as well. But what are their needs and wants is important because we're going to dive into that a little while. And another question, which you should think about is, are we selling to only individuals? Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time out there. So, so I know that, we cannot get into an interaction mode out there, but pedigree, I'm sure you've heard about pedigree. All right. Pedigree is the pre-made food for dogs. Now, who is the customer here? Okay. Can you start giving some 5-6 responses? Who is the customer in case of pedigree? So you guys are extremely smart, all right, and brilliant. So I don't think, so the dog owners, pet owners are the customer. But who's the consumer? Okay, now we stop it there. Who's the consumer? Yeah, absolutely. So many number. Dog lovers are not consumers. Someone wrote dog lovers. Or is it a response to the earlier one? Upper middle class pet owners. So you find if that's the customer, not the consumer. Who's consuming it? Who's consuming the service? All right. For whom is it a job to be done? All right. Eating is a job to be done. Okay. For whom is it? It is the dogs. Okay. So there is no rocket science behind it. Consumer is animals like dog. It's important to understand that similarly, when you buy diapers, the customer is the parent, the consumer is the child. Now the question, why these are important is because whom are you going to influence? Are you going to influence customer or are you going to influence the consumer? The answer to that is that there is no fixed formula. You will have to keep in mind a whole lot of things. So there are some cases in which the consumers, all right, are to be influenced. For example, when you go on the road, there are these hawkers who go ahead and sell balloons, right? Who's the consumer there? The child. Who's the customer? The parent, or whosoever is the elder. out there in the car or walking around. So who should you market it to? The parent or the guardian there or the child? You would see that it is marketed to the child, the consumer. The consumer throws a tantrum that he wants it, and therefore the customer goes ahead and buys it. Okay? In case of pedigree, you don't have to go to every dog and make them sniff. Okay? I mean, they would not really make much of a fuss whether you give them pedigree or you give them some other brand, Canon, or you give them live meat. Okay? Doesn't matter. But you are playing with the pet owner's psyche. Healthy food for your dogs and healthy food for your cats and all of that. Although it is, it's another questionable food item for the dogs itself. But the fact of the matter is you're targeting your marketing activity where? Towards the customer. So whether you are targeting towards the customer or towards the consumer, all right, in many cases, the customer and consumer are the same, So you're buying liquor, you're buying cigarettes, you're buying your own car, all right, you're buying food for yourself. In these cases, the customer and the consumer are the same. So there are customer-focused activities, consumer-focused activities, and activities where the customer and consumer are the same. So who will use their product or service is important. Yeah. So, and therefore, and I'm going to go to the last question out. Are we selling to only individuals? So, for example, if you are to go ahead and buy this, okay, it's a roll-on. Okay, it's a roll-on. All right. Or if you are going to go ahead and buy this, okay, this is a nicotine gum, okay, or anything for that matter, whatever is there on my desk. Who is the customer? I am the customer. Who's the consumer? I am the consumer. Right? But there could be shops for fragrances where, let's say they're selling ladies' perfume, but a lady walks in, okay, so she's the consumer, she's the customer, and she could be the consumer. She may not be the consumer. She might be buying it for her own child or her own daughter, her own husband. When a man walks in, okay, usually it is thought that he's come here to buy it for, his fairer, companion, all right? Could be for his daughter or whatsoever. Now the perceptions are changing where they're saying that the guy who's walked in to buy a perfume may be buying a perfume for himself. Yeah. But these are sales which are being made to individuals. But when you, let's say, buy a water purification system for the office, who is the consumer? All the employees. Right. And who's the customer? And I'm not going to go into the depth of it, but for your sake of understanding, there is something called account strategy for major sales. Please note it down. It is called account strategy for major sales, ASMS. Do a search and you will find a book, very well-written book by Carlton Publishing. It was originally published by Hathaway, Inkscape Publishing. But account strategy for major sales will tell you about B2B sales or B2G sales. B2B is business to business, B2G is business to government. All right. They will tell you that. Okay. Now, in case of a non-individual sale or in case of an enterprise sale, the decision maker, all right, and influencer and gatekeeper and all of that is probably people who are not from the consuming faction. So let's say, for example, I am the head of finance or I'm the head of finance and administration, and I'm going ahead and taking a decision as to which office building that we should go ahead and take on lease. That decision I am taking on behalf of whom? The consumers of that building. Who are the consumers of the building? All the office staffers, including himself. Right? So what you need to keep in mind is, are we selling it to individuals or are we selling it to, are we selling it to some people who are not going to use the product, all right, even if they're buying it, okay? So very important. Who will pay us? Obviously, customer, consumer, and all of this. So I hope you've got this very clear, all right, in terms of things to ponder. Now, as we move forward, okay, in your case, in the case of the boy, the girl, and the beauty company or the beauty product business that you talk about, you could have a B2B or a B2C situation, customer segments, all right, and whatever I've discussed, you will find them out here on the screen as well. Okay. So, for example, you will, buying decisions for the companies or for a larger group of people is B2B, B2C is individuals for their own purposes. The buyer may have, in case of a B2C environment, which is a, single customer or family, there'll be one buyer, all right, but they may have several influencers. But in case of a B2B, there will not only be influencers, but there will also be various departments, various levels of decision makers and all of that stuff. That is the reason why it's B2B is different from B2C. Even the sales cycle is very different. All right, the sales cycle is also very different. In case of B2C, because the decision-making matrix is very compact, okay, by nature of that, it becomes easier for decisions to be taken. Whereas when it comes to an enterprise sales, you could be having a request for proposal to be sent out. You may be asking for 3 different quotations. All right, you may have a panel who's going ahead and taking a decision. So the sales cycles are long. Okay, so that has to be borne in mind. They will also bargain a lot or negotiate a lot with you. By the way, I'm sure you're aware there's a difference between the words bargain and negotiate. Okay, bargain is on price, negotiate is on features and on price. All right, so when you do a B2B kind of an environment, there's a lot of negotiation which will happen. In case of a B2C, negotiation more in terms of bargaining is what is seen, but that is not really the case all the time. But you will see more flavor of bargaining in B2C and more flavor of bargaining as well as negotiation on all the other aspects in a B2B environment. So these two environments have their own nuances, but you also need to keep in mind that while there's a low volume, high price kind of an environment in a B2B, and in a B2C environment is high volume and lower price, because price is the concern there. But what you will also see is that in a B2B environment, all right, while the volumes are higher, prices are low, credit, might be something which has to be extended. So for example, the cafe that we are opening up, all right, we're meeting up with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people in the vicinity. And one of the biggest things that they have, that I immediately realized in the first 2 calls itself, that they're going to ask for credit. So the moment, that a situation came in, I walked in with a prepaid solution. Right? I walked in with a prepaid solution, no postpaid solution. The moment you say postpaid, it's not a telephonic, it's not a mobile connection that you can snip it off. Here you cannot strip it off. When you're going to get stuck into that, chakra view, as they say in Hindi, all right, in this. So I went ahead and said it's a prepaid model. Okay, so there are a variety of things that you can go ahead and do to ensure that you don't get stuck out there. Now we have 2, options out here: retail and e-com. E-com is what we had chosen, so we'll go ahead with e-com. All right, when we go ahead with e-com, again, as we said, that there are 2 segments which are there: B2C and B2B. Now, I'm not going to ask you to make a choice out there. All right, we will take the B2C segment because beauty products in the B2B segment, which is business to business, will be there, okay, and is there and is flourishing a lot. But in an e-com platform, B2B segment is not something which has been doing that. Now you can go ahead and say that, you've got Zomato Pure for sure, you've got Reliance, which has just taken over Hyper, which has taken over, variety of large block retailers, okay, like Metro Cash and Carry. They also have their own Reliance Smart and all of that. Yes, of course, but they're not e-com. When I say e-com, keep this in mind. E-com is not just about fulfilling the requirement, which is for basically used as order and reorder systems. But e-com, when we say, we are talking about the initial sales happening on the e-com platform. Now, that does not happen, okay, in a B2B environment. yeah, if you can dive into it, and if I dive into it, I'm sure we'll find out one example here or there. But ideally, in a e-com platform, B2B sales does not happen. B2B service fulfillment may happen. So, for example, I've gone ahead and sold the idea, all right, but you are now looking at regular orders being coming. So what I will do is I will give you a link. You will go onto the link and you will go ahead and put a reorder there. I can automate that. I can set up par stock levels and all of that. I'm not getting into complications there. But all that I'm saying is service fulfillment can happen in a B2B environment on the e-com platform, but sales on the e-com platform in a B2B kind of an environment is a little far-fetched. Okay, that does not mean that people will not buy, but are they buying it in bulk for their organization? No. They would usually like, in a B2B environment, they would usually like one-to-one conversation, so that there could be negotiations that could happen. There could be, there could be bargaining that could happen. You need to build relationships because you don't know who else will poach your customer from you. So from your perspective or the customer's perspective, e-com, B2B sales is a very, I'm giving a, benefit of doubt, is a very negligible number. But fulfillment will happen. So let us look at B2C, because B2C, because of the pandemic and a whole lot of other things, what has happened is it has built a big place in people's hearts and minds. Okay? So people are very, very comfortable with e-com. My 75-year-old father, all right, he should be given shares in Amazon, because I think he buys something or the other every day. So I don't know if he's got hooked onto online purchasing systems, or is it that he really needs them? But the fact of the matter is that even a 75-year-old man is very comfortable with the whole idea about e-commerce. So let's look at B2C segment per se. Okay? Now, in the B2C segment, in an e-commerce environment, for the beauty products that we're referring to, there will be a lot of different segregations that you can do. Eco-conscious consumers, vegan and cruelty-free kind of people who have got sensitive skin, people who are wellness enthusiasts, all right, or health-conscious millennials and Gen Z and all that. And you would wonder that there are so many overlaps. What is so new about it? Yeah, there are a lot of overlaps, and the reality of life is you cannot stop it. Human minds do not see everything with a very clear-cut boundary. Yeah. So what we are going to go ahead and do is, basis the input that you gave, we'll look at health-conscious millennials and Gen Z, which is quite a wide set of people, because that's what you were saying, right? From 15 to 35, 40, which is millennials, Gen Z, and all of that. Okay, younger generation, more aware about and concerned about products, ingredients, sustainability, impact, what impact is getting created, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is the kind of a consumer, idea that we're going to start working with. But when in a B2B environment, all right, again, we have gone ahead and written it, but this is not something that you should go ahead and bother yourself much. But I must also tell you that while in all of these cases, that initial sales will not really happen e-com, that's why I've called it the e-com hybrid platform, where the sale may happen through, through a one-on-one, one-to-one environment, in a one-to-one environment, but the fulfillment, all right, may happen on an online platform. Now, one specific category that you may want to keep in mind is a lot of people who may not be selling the product in the B2C environment with their own branding and labeling. They could actually go ahead and make their products available as a white label product. All right? And with that white label product, Chandan comes to me and says that, hey, I want to I want to buy your products or I want to sell them under my name. Go ahead. So what do? I say, already, give me your branding. You tell me what, what container sizes you require. You tell me what is the material that has to be put in. You want some specialization to happen. For that, I need this kind of bulk. You tell me, I'll put everything and I'll put your sticker around it, pack it, and send it directly, all right, to your distribution warehouse. So the product will not even be seen by the entrepreneur. They may have a quality check system and monitoring system and all that which is there, but that is white labeling of products. Okay. So today, for example, when you go to a Reliance store, all right, or to a More store, or to any of the stores, grocery stores across the globe, I'm talking about bigger chains. I'm not talking about mom and pop stores. You will find them selling some products which are under a brand name which is their own. For example, for Amazon, all right, you got Amazon Basics, and they also use the brand name Solimo, all right, to go ahead and sell a whole lot of products. Now, do you think they produce those products? No, they don't produce those products. What do? They go ahead and get those products, all right, and then they go ahead and brand it, and they go ahead and sell it. Similarly, you will have spas and salons who will require your product, your beauty product in a larger bulk. Okay. So in that case also, they will require to be sold face to face, but they will be required to service. They could be serviced, as such, from in an online environment. Okay. So all of these possibilities are there. Just wanted to show it to you that what it exactly means. Okay. So that is what. Now let us go back. Yeah, I think this goes back. So what we're now going to do is we're now going to go ahead and look at how do we go ahead and validate the various segments. Okay. Now, validation of these will require some questions to be asked and all of that. We'll get into that in a while. All right, but we've got these 4 things that we need to look at. All right, and we are already running quite late. So we're going to first of all get into something called as the validation loop. And for validation, we need to figure out that are we, as you said, are we solving the right problem for the right people? Okay. Now, when we talk about solving the right problem for the right people, okay, we need to know our customer. So what is knowing our customer? So it's an acronym, all right, which basically says that what are the key attributes of your customer? All right, what are the needs of your customer? What are the obstacles that you face, and what are your wants? And let me go into these in a little detail. Okay. And once we have this data for the customer, we would need to go ahead and validate them. So when we talk about key attributes of a customer, what are we talking about key attributes? Key attributes could be, demographic data, which is what is the age bracket, like we said, 15 to 40, 45, 35, 40. Yeah. What could be the salary bracket, or what is their earning, that they have, or what is the, if not earning, what is the, disposable income that they have. Okay. And when it comes to disposable income, you could go ahead and say that what disposable income will a 15-year-old have. So in case of 15-year-old, it will not be called disposable income. It will be called money, accessible money, that I can go to my mother and can go ahead and ask her for $1,000 for a certain, perfume that I want to buy for a friend. Okay, and do I have that access to that? So those are the various attributes. Other demographic data could be where do you belong to, all right, which part of the country that you're from, what languages that you speak, your religion, and so on and so forth. Okay, but there could be only this demographic data is not good enough. You need to have the psychographic data of that individual, of those kind of broader set of customers that we talk about. That what are their habits, what are their, where do they hang out? Okay. What is that it attracts them? Or what kind of movies that they see? Now you would wonder, why do we need this information? Okay. So why do we need this information? Depends. So what information that we're looking for depends upon the kind of problem, the kind of customer, prospective customer, and the kind of solution that we're going to look at. So for example, if you ask me, when it comes to my dessert bar, okay, I will go ahead and say that one of the information that I need is that how many times do you go out as a family? Okay. And how many times do you go out with your friends? And how many times do you go out on your own? Okay. And because once I have that data, I will then start asking other questions. Because I know that, my desert bar is supposed to be a family-oriented one. So when I say family-oriented, friends-oriented, that means, yeah, if you're if you are going out on your own, you may come and have a dessert in my shop. But desserts we know is an impulse purchase, and therefore I am trying to see what all should I have so that I can go ahead and attract the customers or consumers who are a part of a friendly gang or that of a family. Yeah. So I need to understand those, those elements, and those elements will go ahead and decide upon the fact that, it could help decide in a couple of areas. So we just got to keep that in mind. Okay. So when we talk about, the key attributes of the customer, then we need to look at the demographic data as well as the psychographic data, which helps you understand the persona of the customer. Now comes the needs. Needs are what we also call as jobs to be done. All right. When we talk about jobs to be done, that means, and this is the same problem that you figured out. The same problem that you figured out is what is known as the need out here. What is that I'm looking for? So there is a problem. That problem goes ahead and arises a certain need that is there. Yeah? So that problem has led to a certain need for the kind of customer that we're referring to. And that is the job which requires to be done. So for example, if I am staying in a satellite city, all right, any of the satellite cities, most of the large, cities have satellite cities around. Right? If I have a need to go ahead and enjoy the less polluted satellite cities, then one of the needs which comes up, one of the jobs that need to be done from a point of view of the government is that there should be job opportunities there, or there should be transportation available there. Okay, because only if the transportation is available that will I be able to move. So I am still not saying that, what kind of transportation, air transportation or whatsoever, but I need to go from point A to point B. Okay. Now, that is what is referred to as jobs to be done, and we're going to refer to that later on, in today itself. Okay. But just keep this in mind that need is what is coming out of the problem that you've gone ahead and identified. Imagine the need of these, the boy and the girl when they looked at, stuff around them with regards to beauty, which is not being accessible and all of that. So you wrote that in your problem statement canvas, right? So that was there. Now, what are the obstacles? Now, when anything, is done, there would always be obstacles to the job getting done or their need getting fulfilled. Okay. And those obstacles are important, obstacles that I would want to get rid of. Now, I know that there are obstacles, but I would like to get rid of them. Okay. I don't want that. I don't want it there. So for example, let's say there is, and I'm again taking the example because there are a lot of smart cities coming up, and you may find some, problem which you may end up, solving for them. Now the smart cities are coming up. You're asking people to go ahead and, they're rebadging some existing cities into smart cities. And in some cases they're, doing a greenfield activity. I'm sure you know the difference between, what is greenfield and know the difference between greenfield and brownfield ventures. If not, then please keep a note and please find it out. Greenfield ventures and brownfield ventures. Okay. Now, when we are talking about colors, there's another term which is used in management a lot, and it's something that your investors would also may end up asking you is blue ocean strategy. And so, what's a blue ocean and what's a red ocean? Okay, blue ocean, red ocean. I'm sure you're aware of it. If not, go ahead and do a Google or write back to us, and we will give you some information to go through when it comes to what is blue ocean, red ocean, what is greenfield, and what is brownfield kind of a project. Okay. So the thing is that the obstacle is that you go in and create a smart city, which is, let's say, 150 kilometers away. It's a greenfield smart city. Now you want people to go and stay there, but they need to have work, or otherwise you go ahead and pay them their salary without working. That is not going to happen. So what is required is for them to either get a job there or to have high-speed transportation available between that city and the closest place where it's a place of business, where there's jobs available, there's trade available. All right, they need to have that connectivity. Now, I would like to take you very briefly through Gift City, GIFT, Gift City in Gujarat. Okay, so they went ahead and created the Gift City. Okay, even in case of Sanand, where Tata Motors got shifted once they got into a spat with Mamata Banerjee. Okay, so these places didn't have infrastructure. So that was an obstacle which was there for them to go ahead and build the infrastructure. All right, so what did they go ahead and do? They went ahead and removed those obstacles. Once they removed those obstacles, then only people started moving in. So that is, then you have wants. Then you say, all right, my needs are there, needs are needs. But if you give me that, I would really love it. So your needs is your jobs to be done, your basic, what are you trying to get resolved? That is your need. Obstacle are stuff that I want to really get rid of. I don't want it. Okay. I mean, I really I would love to get rid of it. All right. And what are my wants? Wants are those things that I would love to have. If I get it, fantastic. It's not that I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the product if you don't give those to me. But if you give it to me, I will love you even more. Right. So NOW is very important. N is also referred to as jobs to be done. O and W, which are obstacles that you face, and your wants. We're going to cover that in a little more detail as we move forward. Okay. All right. So, Chandan, I'm sure you're looking at the chat box, and if there's a question, you will let me know. You'll pause me there and then. Okay.
Yes, Paco. Or also we are time.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So now we go ahead and so that's your introduction to the no model. Okay, KNOW. Okay. Now, when it comes to the e-com platform, I've gone ahead and told what K means. I've gone ahead and told you what needs mean. I've gone ahead and told you what obstacles are. I've gone ahead and told you what wants are. Okay. So just very quickly read it out here. Okay. So this is the kind of customer persona or the no model about the customer that we've gone ahead and identified. Millennials and Gen Z segment. Okay. And 26 years of age, gender is female, education is bachelor's degree in management. All right. Stays in, is an urban or city dwelling, individual. Okay. Early career professional working in a consulting agency. So you're looking at, demographic data, but we should also put up some psychographic data and lifestyle data as well. When it comes to needs, just to go through very quickly, in our case out here, this is the original problem, remember? This is the original problem. Needs, beauty and wellness products. Who needs? Payal Jain, okay, the person whose name is written on the top. So Payal and people like Payal, all right, they need beauty and wellness products that align with their eco-conscious lifestyle, organic, vegan, cruelty-free, sustainable packaging, recyclable, all right, not using single-use plastics, and all of that stuff. So these are your needs. These need to get done. This is coming out of the damn problem. When it comes to obstacles, okay, so Sonali out here, okay, I'll let be referring to, all right, faces difficulty in finding reliable sources. So reliability of the sources is important out here, all right, to buy these kind of products. And therefore, she is often forced to visit multiple websites and products that she needs. And these are the things that I would love to have, additional to everything, that those who are gentle and effective, and, as she has a sensitive skin and is wary of harsh chemicals. Okay? So, and there's always a thin line of difference between needs and wants. One needs to keep that in mind. But this is what goes ahead and defines who your customer is. KNOW. Key attributes, which is demographic, psychographic, lifestyle. Needs, which is what emanates from the core problem. Jobs to be done. Obstacles, stuff that I want to really get rid of, okay, or which stops from the fulfillment of the needs. And wants, I would love to have them. Not that I'll not buy if you don't give it to me, but I would love to have them. Okay, so that is the no model. Okay. Okay, by the way, I'm sure you recognize these products. Okay. This, of course, you know. Tata Nano. This one, I'm sure some of you would have already guessed it. What is this? The one on the left, it says Cheetos. What is this? Have you seen this product in the market? Can you put it in the chat box if you know what it is? People are responding.
Yeah, as expected, it is Cheetos. It comes as packed chips.
Okay. Seen in TV shows. Yeah, glue.
Okay.
Lip balm. Ishwar, it is lip balm. So yeah, it took some time to come to that, right? I mean, because you do not associate Cheetos with lip balm or chapstick, for that matter. So, so what happened? So fine, yeah, I understand. Nano, cheapest car, all right? Cheapest car was supposed to go ahead and, give an option to the two-wheeler buyer, be the first car that they buy. I also bought one, by the way, all right? And, Google Glass, ahead of its time, all right, really, really sci-fi variety, okay, cool looking stuff, okay, don't need a screen or anything, but it flopped. Now, you can go ahead and say people are idiots, but the fact of the matter is it flopped, all right? So why did they flop? And that is the reason you need to know your customer and do the no model. Okay, so Tata Nano, it was a perception issue. People perceived it. So the Tatas went ahead and tom-tom that they thumped their chest and said that we've come out with a car which is 1 lakh rupees. I remember when it was costing 1,17,000, my father went ahead and said, let's buy one. We all had our cars. We had large, big cars. I had a Mercedes and I had a Ford Endeavor, but I still went ahead and bought Tata Nano because it was a 1 lakh car. In fact, by the time we went ahead and bought it, it was 1,17,000, and that 17,000 itself, my father said, should we buy it? It become costly. Hello. You guys, my father also had 2 cars. My brother had 2 cars. I had 2 cars. All right. In my home, the car value was more than 1 crore, the total value of cars. And I'm thinking about 1 lakh rupee going up to 17,000. So it's a matter of perception. It looked as a cheap, it was perceived as a cheap car. Similarly, Google Glass, okay? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time, social acceptance and privacy concerns. Something as simple as, privacy concern went ahead and you will say, why privacy isn't it important? Of course it's important. But that time when Google Glass came out, that time privacy means what? Nothing much. Cheetos chapstick, okay? It was a complete misalignment with consumer expectation. You yourself saw a couple of answers, right? Most of us went ahead and said Pringles and chips and whatever it is. But lip balm, I hope they've gotten rid of the brand manager who went ahead and launched it. All right. Nonetheless, okay. So it's time to get out of the building and do the customer validation. Okay. And when you do the customer validation, I have a very short video out here. I would want you to see it very quickly so that, it becomes it becomes crystal clear in your mind. And my friend Raj and I have created it. So yeah, go ahead and listen to it. And Chandan, please confirm by the show of your thumbs up if you can hear the audio.
I told you that the no model is good if you fill in all the details. Now, to fill in all the details, obviously you need to go and talk to the customer. So we have something called as a customer empathic questionnaire, okay, that we will give it to you in the form of a template. But let me share with you some things that are do's and don'ts.
You may increase the volume from your side.
The potential customers based on the customer persona that we talked about, about whom you're going to interview with. Seek their prior approval. Give them a context as to why you are, conducting this interview. Make them feel comfortable. Tell them that you are recording this because this data is important and, don't miss out on the details later. Okay. And You should talk less. Your customer should talk more. Okay? So when you're asking questions, make them comfortable enough so that they can share their. See, when it comes to sharing problems, people are a bit skeptical. People don't want to, come out and share their problem, especially if you are a stranger. But make them comfortable. Give them that confidence that you are using this data so that you can help them get this problem solved. But while doing this, do not propose a solution. Do not try to make a sale. Do not say, I have a product that will solve your problem. Don't say that. Just listen to the customer. Get more details from the customer on what the actual problem is. At the same time, do not, kind of belittle a competition or belittle some alternative things that they are doing and say that, no, it's not going to work and that you have a better solution. Please remember, we are having a customer-centric approach to enterprising. Okay? We are not here to come and sell a product right on day one. We will listen to the customer, we will understand what they really need, and then go about building this particular product. Okay? So in this customer empathy questionnaire, be very sensitive to your customer's need and record all the information.
So there's no rocket science behind that. Why Raj and we created this video was to go ahead and tell you certain do's and don'ts, which are extremely, extremely, extremely important when you get out of the building or get out of your house or get out of your lab to go ahead and validate. So first of all, most entrepreneurs don't go and validate because they think they know the problem, they think they know the customer, they think they know everything. Unfortunately, it's not true. All right. Number two, these are rules these are unsaid rules, but you should go ahead and tell your customer will believe in you more and will give you the right data. And what Raj said, I'm going to reiterate, don't, never, ever, all right, try to sell your product. This is not the stage for selling your product. When the stage for selling your product comes in, I normally find people don't even talk. All right, so don't sell your product right now. All right, just listen. Listening is extremely important in this case. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, the validation questions, Chandan, if I'm not wrong, is there on the platform itself, available. All right, so you should go there and take a look at the validation questions, the empathy questionnaire that we are referring to. So remain curious, all right, and empathize. Two attributes extremely important for being a successful entrepreneur. Be curious and be empathetic. Empathize with your customer, okay? So we, of course, go ahead and take the e-com platform out, all right, as we move forward, but validation is important, all right? Please ensure that you validate, okay? Now, once we've come to this stage, we are now going ahead and looking at that, okay, we now know the problem, we know the customer, all right, let us go ahead and look at what is the value proposition that we need to go ahead and create. Now, value proposition is where, you will need to spend a little bit of time because unless you go ahead and create the value proposition properly, you will not be able to go ahead and create the product, okay? So very quickly, let's have Raj tell us about what the value proposition bit is. And I'm going to add on to that to tell you, how is it actually done, okay?
While discussing the business model canvas, there is a very important component that needs to be done right before you go into the business model canvas, and it's called as the value proposition canvas. Now, you'll ask me, what's a value proposition canvas? Value proposition canvas, in my definition, is where you find the customer problem fit. What do I mean by the customer problem fit? So we have very well established the fact that customers are going to pay us to get their problems fixed, right? That is what entrepreneurship is all about. So who's this customer and what exactly is the problem he or she is facing is what gets discovered in the value proposition canvas. So the value proposition canvas, you could say, is a picture that exactly tells you who your customer is, what is the customer's problems that he's wanting to get fixed, and what is your proposed solution towards it, right? I mean, there's no solution you have built, but you're trying to build it based on what you are hearing from the customer. So when you look at the value proposition canvas, on your right hand side, you would see a customer persona. This is the same persona that we talked about while discussing the problem statement canvas and no model. Based on our discussions in those sessions, we now have a fairly good idea on what our customer looks like. What is his demographic profile? What is his geographic profile? What are the behavioral traits that our potential customer exhibits? Having discovered this, we have to ask a fundamental question to our customer. What is the job that needs to be done?
Guys, we talked about the needs, right? What is the job to be done? And that is what, Raj is talking about out here, that what is the need and what is behind this need? Behind this need is that cow, the problem that you had seen with your eyes, right? From that problem comes the jobs to be done. Okay, I've just paused it to create that connection. And as you will see forward, that what are pains out here are the obstacles which are there and the wants that are there, which I would love to have, all right, are the gains. All right, so let Raj finish it in the next couple of seconds, and then I'll take it.
We have established that people pay for a quarter-inch hole. They never pay for a quarter-inch drill. So it doesn't matter what your solution is going to look like. As long as it works for the customer is going to pay for it.
So very important, huh? What is your problem? Your problem is that hole. Okay. What is the seller selling? The drill. That is quarter-inch hole. He's selling quarter-inch drill, right? So whichever way the quarter-inch hole is going to get made, you'll be satisfied. So that is also the corollary there, is that don't fall in love with the solution, fall in love with the problem. The problem is the quarter-inch hole that has to be created. For that, there could be multiple solutions, right? But out here, what we are referring to is that, when we looked at this screen, I will very quickly take you through this, the way that you'll be able to use it. Okay, I don't want to go through all the videos right now. So customer jobs to be done is jobs to be done. Okay, now what is jobs to be done? Jobs to be done is all about what are your needs. Okay, not needs and wants, your needs. You will have material needs, you will have emotional needs, and those needs need to get resolved. For example, I have a material need that I want a quarter-inch hole on the wall. Okay, now what are the obstacles that I could have? All right, the obstacles is that while making the hole, it should not be sounding a lot of this, that. To give you an example, if you make milkshake, does it make a lot of sound? Okay, the mixie which is used to make milkshake, all right, is hardly 3,000 rupees. But if you go to Starbucks, the mixie there, now next time you go, you will notice it. The mixie there has a cover on top. So when they make your milkshake, you can't hear anything. I mean, you don't hear the noise of the mixie, right? So one of the pains which was there, that I want to get the milkshake made, but I don't like the noise. Why is that pain important? Because in the pursuit to relieve that pain, and I'm now moving on to the square, to relieve that pain, that means it becomes a part of the product's feature. What they did was they went ahead and put a cover on top of it, which is noise. It stops the noise to come out. But by doing that, the cost of the product has moved from 3,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. So pains are there, obstacles are there. And as a product developer, which is on the left side of your screen, all right, you need to find out how will you counter that obstacle. Because as you counter the obstacle, you will find that people are more interested in, the job to get done. Similarly, you've got gains, or you've got the wants which are there. Now, those wants are important. Why are the wants important? Because, you know what? I would love to have those gains. I would love to have those gains. So that's very important, right? So keep that in mind. Now, what is the other thing which is there is that, while your job's getting done is on this side, which is your product features, advantages and benefits, but how do you enhance the value is by creating gains and relieving pains, and they are not opposite of each other. That noise, all right, which I hear when the mixing is going on is a pain. All right, but that does not mean the opposite of noise means absolute vacuum like soundproofing. I don't want that. I want ambient noise, right? In the restaurant that I go to. Okay, otherwise you'll think this is a ghostly kind of a restaurant. So pains and gains are not opposite of each other. Pains are things that I would really like to get rid of. And gains are stuff which I would love to have. And when I manufacture the product or the service, I relieve the pains, I create the gains, and by doing that, I am going ahead and adding value to the product. One last portion on value proposition canvas that I want to share with you very, very quickly is that we all use WhatsApp. All right, Anjani, do we use WhatsApp? Anjani is eating also. Anjani, do we use WhatsApp? Yeah, we use. Yeah, you're saying so. All right. Now, when WhatsApp was launched, it was launched only and only. All right. It was launched only and only as a solution to text messages. Right. So the customer jobs getting done was text messages, but there were a lot of pains and gains. Gains which people wanted and pains that they wanted to get relieved. Right. So over a period of time, now that simple messaging system has now got payment gateway, has now got WhatsApp for business. All right. One of the pains that SMSs had, which was not a pain, which was a job to be done, is apart from sending messages, I cannot restrict myself to 140 characters. So that was one of the initial things that was taken care of when it came to WhatsApp. But one of the pains which was there, all right, was that, I just don't like this sending text messages. I want to see how Chandan looks like or how Aditya looks like. Okay. So did they have video calling at the beginning? No, they did not have. One of the gains that they wanted, that was not there that time, but it came up later on as, fintech companies started working, is that I would love to make direct payments from here, from WhatsApp itself. Now they have it. You can link it. And for short change payments, they're very focused. They have got this, they're creating this gain for short change payment. They're not doing for 20,000 bucks, 30,000 bucks, 50,000 bucks. You can only set it up to 2,000 rupees. Maybe after some time, once they keep on validating with the customer, they will realize that, they will probably require, they will allow higher tender. But what I'm also trying to say is that you do not have to resolve all pains. You do not have to create all gains while creating your first version of the product. Your pain relieving ideas and your gain creating ideas could be something which defines your product roadmap. Am I sounding like Modi? Okay, sorry. I suddenly thought that I'm sounding like Modi. Right? So the thing is that it will create your product roadmap. And that is why it becomes important. So what is the value that you're providing today? If you're now coming to me and pitching to me, you're saying, sir, I'm creating this value for my customer through this product. And I will say, so what's so great about it? Then you can go ahead and say, by the way, I've also identified that customers want these pains to be resolved or relieved and these gains to be created. And in my 6-month, 12-month, 18-month plan, I intend to go ahead and do and build these. Okay. So that's why it is very important. Jobs to be done is your needs. Obstacles are your pains. Your gains are your wants. I would love to have. And those jobs to be done get fulfilled by the core product. And once pains are relieved or gains are created, I am adding and enhancing the value, which will, and to do that, I will go ahead and define my product roadmap. It will also give me competitive advantage. It will also give me competitive advantage. There is nothing like WhatsApp today. You can say Telegram is like that. Understood. There are more users on WhatsApp now. Yeah. So nothing good, bad, or ugly about that, but just wanted to talk about this. Okay. Very quickly. Unique value proposition for chosen segments. Okay. We are talking about e-com. Okay. So in e-com, we're looking at health conscious millennials and Gen X, eco-friendly beauty brands, wellness practitioners. We had talked about it earlier. So the unique value proposition that gets created for the health conscious millennials and Gen X. So now you see how it is important. You first of all had the problem. That problem got, you had the problem statement canvas, which went ahead and said that this is the problem. I now know the problem. And if I know the problem, it tells me what are my needs. And needs are important. Why? Because the needs are something which will get into value proposition. So you go ahead and do the problem statement canvas. You go ahead and you can figure it out for whom do you need it? Who are your customers? You validate that by going outside the building, right? And when you have all the data with you, you now go ahead and create the value proposition canvas, which tells you what is the unique value proposition that you are going to present. But this is not etched in stone. You will continue to change it. I told you about my dessert brand. I walked into a critical meeting to make a presentation. While the presentation was happening, it struck me like a bolt from the blue. And I changed the unique value proposition there itself. I took a break for 2 minutes, said that I want to have a glass of water. And they said, I will get you water. And I said, no, I'll pick up my water. So I went out. All the time that I had to walk from there to the water station and come back, I had restructured the entire thought in my mind. What I'm trying to say is be nimble, be fast. That itself is and we'll talk about this later on, it is called unfair advantage. And we'll refer to that, in 2 sessions. But that nimbleness that I can go ahead and change it. Had it been someone from Hindustan Lever, he would have to say, I have to write a proposal, send it to director send it to manager, he will sign it, come back. But what happened in case of me? I changed my approach in that 20 feet one way, 20 feet the other way. Okay. Similarly, the value proposition is what you create is not etched in stone. Just keep that in mind always. Always. Okay. Let's move from there. And what you need to, what we are looking at is from a value proposition perspective, my customer map says that the customer jobs to be done when it comes to this. All right. And I know, Chandan, we are at 7:30 exactly. Guys, we are at 7:30. I will require about 5-6 minutes or 10 minutes more, but this is a critical element that we should cover. Okay. So don't start dropping off out here. So I'm just reiterating very quickly now with the things that when it comes to that example between the boy and the girl, when we talk about customer jobs or the jobs to be done or the needs, all right, is shopping for high quality wellness and eco-friendly beauty products. Seeking convenience in purchasing those products. I want that. I need that. And I'm looking for personalized product recommendation. Okay. If I have that, and if you have a solution which will go ahead and, handle that, I'm cool. I'm good. Okay. But if this is not done, then whatever, additional stuff you give me, I'm not interested. I want shopping of high quality wellness and eco-friendly beauty products available in an e-com platform, which is what the line of thought that you're taking. There's a convenience element out here in terms of purchasing such product, and there is personalized product recommendations that I need to have. Okay, I need to have this. If you're not giving this, I'm not interested. What are the pains or what are the obstacles? Difficulty in finding desired products across multiple stores or websites. I mean, is it available? Yeah, it is available, but it's all scattered. I would really want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this thing about going to multiple places. All right, can you solve this? Can you help it? Can you help me there? Lack of personalized recommendation. I go to people, they give me the same bloody information, but I want something which can give me, personalized information about, how to have a cleaner scalp. Okay. Difficulty in making informed decisions due to lack of information about the products. Now, can you help me get rid of it? Those are the pains. Those are the obstacles that I have. Okay? Finally, what comes is, the gains. And what are the gains? I would love to have. I would love to have ease of finding products, and getting all of these, top quality products and all that. Yeah? And that I get an access to a wide variety of brands in one place itself. Yeah. Being able to make purchases that align with personal values and preferences. Okay. And looking and feeling good for self and the planet. I would love that. Okay. Now, if that is the case, then we have pain relievers, which are what? We'll give a curated selection. You'll have trust and verification. There'll be a trust certification and so on and so forth. And I'll give you convenience and accessibility. When it comes to gains, all right. So we have not written out there, but yeah, the pains are something that we can take care of. All right. And so that is where it ends. Okay. For today, which is the value proposition canvas. So all that we've done till now is now we've got the idea in place. What is the solution? The customer problem fit has been figured out. And I've also figured out that what is that the customer will love to, why will the customer love to buy something from you? Right? So the next thing that we're going to get into is we're going to get into the pitching activity. Okay. And that is something which I would request Chandan to very quickly take us through in terms of the expectations from the pitching activity, which happens next week. It is important. All right. So don't miss it. Okay. So Chandan, over to you.
Thank you, Paku. Okay, I will share.
By the way, Chandan is very angry because I've taken time till 7:35. Chandan, you are all enjoying it.
Okay, Paku, you are able to see a screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So guys, there is a video, but I'm not going to play the video because I want you to go to the community platform. There are all the videos, as I told, as a tutorial, everything is there. How to fill the pitch, how do we do that? But let me quickly cover what are the things that we need to do. For the pitch, get ready early validation feedback, because today we just covered early validation feedback from customer. Helps you iterative development. I mean, why should you pitch? Because first of all, there will be some experts, some of us, some expert will be there to give you the first level validation, whether you are in the right track or not, because this is so early. Okay. And you have not put a lot of effort in terms of financials right now. So that is why you need to pitch, so that you need to know if you want to change your idea at this point of time, so that it saves your time and also money. It helps you iterate development your idea, as I told, helps you handle questions with confidence. If there are certain questions that will be asked, you might not have thought of, that will be asked. Helps you identify what are the gaps, because the experts, they are going to ask you a couple of questions. They're not going to tell you right or wrong. That will trigger you to identify, okay, these are the points, probably I missed it. Let me go back and look into it, and generate early market interest and create, how can I generate where people will be, will not buy your product. Everybody will not download your app, because I saw a couple of chat. Is it everybody is going to download your app? No, it is not. But who are the early people, those who are going to download your app, apart from you, your family member, and your very close friend? Who are the others, those who are supposed to be your first level customers? So those are the points that you will be able to know. This is pitch. This document is, this particular template is available to download. To download, you need to go to again to the platform. I'll show you where exactly it is. You need to download this. This will have 3 major templates that you have already worked on. Problem statement canvas, that is identify your problem. No model, That is, you define your customer persona. And number three is create the value proposition. What are the jobs, pains, gains, and what will you do? So what you need to to answer this particular block, if you do not have, if you have not worked on problem statement canvas and customer, you will not be able to answer. So what we would like to see is you are filling this particular part one by one and presenting it. And you are going to present for 3 minutes. Again, I'm repeating, you are going to present only for 3 minutes, followed by 2 minutes question answer from the expert. And then it moves to the next pitch session. So 3 minutes, when it says, are you able to create that interest among the people? Suppose it could be somebody who is a mentor, it could be somebody who is an investor. Are you creating that elevator pitch? Even if it is little early, it should be 1 minute, but here for the first time, you guys are going to do it. That's why we are giving 3 minutes pitch about your idea, which should consist for the customer who wants to achieve the goals. And guys, goals is job. So you need to work on the job, pain, gain. Look at the videos on platform, go through that. It is a small videos with the example how to fill. Do that, which will help you to put it in the right manner. But what are the problems they are facing? Job pain they are facing, and making them feel they're upset about it, which will enable them to achieve the job, because every problem is an obstacle to achieve what they want to do, whether it's a functional, whether it's a emotional, whether it's a social, all this, it is a block. And what is your proposed solution? The box, the square box in the value proposition canvas. What is the problem? Product and services. PDT is a shorter version of product or services overview. Short. What is your product or services? Which compared to your alternative, how you are differentiating yourself, because you are creating the value, and value is being created because the problem is not been answered by the alternatives. Remember, if you are thinking you do not have any competition, there are no other alternatives, first thing is that is always not true. There has to be some competition. It could be direct competition, or it could be substitute. It could be the other competitor, but there is a indirect competition. For example, always restaurants does not have a competition with another restaurant. People, those who love to cook at home and eat, that is also, that habit is a competition to the restaurant business. People, those who want to start a business of restaurants. So remember, this is also a competition. So it could be anything. Okay. Even if to some extent, if you have multiple products in one particular restaurant, if you go, there are say donuts and there are smoothies, they both are competitor to each other. Okay. So there are competition to every problem that you are trying to solve, or every idea that you are going to work on. And last but not the least, the idea resonates with me, because you need to mention, because first, initially we discussed about why in the problem statement canvas, why are you thinking that you will be able to solve this problem? It is a market trend, I go with the market trend, or do you have the passion? Do you have the right skill set to solve this problem? And also you need to or do you have right kind of people? Like you guys are trying to see who could be my co-founder. I just put it, no, identify, pitch. There also you need to pitch. This is my idea. Will you be interested? They both, the founder and co-founder, your core team member, need to match. You need to complement to each other. You need to share the similar kind of passion to solve this kind of problem. Then only you will come together. Not necessary Remember, try to avoid. Many a times what happens, my friend becomes my co-founder, like my buddy. Person. I want to develop. I'm a coder, and I can create a lot of software. My friend is also software. We both are adding. We both are the co-founders, and we have created amazing software that we think and we believe, which could be right, but we don't know how to sell. We don't know how to pitch. We don't know where to go. Makes no sense. You need to have those who have that skill, so that you are creating the product, but they are testing, they are trying to sell the product in the market. Or there is a finance guy who is trying to see whether everything is in place. Otherwise, your money is gone and you don't have extra money to run your business. So you need to identify what are the complementary skill set each of you. But at this point of time, at least few complementary skill set you need to identify to start with. Okay. Once you submit, there is a mail that has already been sent by us. I believe 11th is the last submission day. There is a particular time also, I believe 1 p.m. or something like that. By 11th, 1 p.m., you need to submit. This will be open on your platform. Again, I'm saying session 3 under download pitch 1. I'll show you where exactly you need to do. Go to your session platform. You go to more, you have submissions. If you click on the submissions, you have idea and venture pitch template, template 1, idea pitch template, template 1. Once you download this is the idea that I was showing you. This one you need to download, fill, and you will be able to fill based on problem statement canvas, no model, and value proposition canvas, that is VPC. If you have done it, submit it, then you will be given a time slot. You need to choose with that particular time. There will be a particular time that will be given to you. You need to choose the time slot and you need to pitch. Remember, if you missed to come, if you have given your time slot, you have blocked your time slot, and you missed to pitch on 13th, that is the next Thursday, if it is, I'm not wrong, that is 13th, yeah, 13th, then we will consider you as a dropout from this particular session. So guys, if you are really serious, you want to do, then please pitch, because once you pitch on 13, it will open up sessions like mentoring sessions, one-on-one sessions. It will open up for the idea that you are working on. We will have a one-on-one session. Now, one-on-one session, that also you need to block. You can block, and we will share the time slots. You can block, and then we can have a one-on-one session. Unless you miss to do it and you have informed for some emergency that has to communicate it to us. If that is not there, then we will consider you as a dropout from the session, and henceforth you will not be able to pitch your final venture idea. Neither you will get any mentoring services from here on. Okay. Any question related to the pitch that you have? Okay, so there is a question from Ishwar. Is it for our own idea? If you are saying own idea, what I would consider, I would suggest, I had given it last time as well. If you have your idea that is already been validated, go ahead with that. But if you are still figuring out, I have 5-6 ideas, what should I do? We recommend, because there is a particular reason why we have given those 4 ideas, so that you work on the practice venture and then parallelly you work on that idea, so that you know what are the steps that you might be missing when you're working on your idea. So that when you look into the others they are pitching, you will have more clarity and you learn from others. Otherwise, you'll get biased and stuck to your particular idea. Unless you have already validated your idea, you have spoken to the customers, you have identified and they say, okay, no, these are the problems, then please go ahead. I believe that number is pretty minimal. But if you are not identified and you are still mulling over 4-5 ideas, you choose from any idea that has been given, because this will give you a place to practice and do a lot of experiments. Okay. Yeah, recorded version will be posted tomorrow. This particular session will be posted tomorrow for sure. Okay. Okay. So now let me quickly move to the next slide. So what do you need? Start filling the no model. I have already already communicated. Was the no and VPC tutorial videos on the platform? The same on the platform. Fill the okay. So how many of you can you say have you seen the? Let me. On the chat, could you please write if you have seen previous tutorials? How many of you have gone through and seen the tutorials on no model? Sorry, on problem statement canvas that we have in the session 1. It is there on platform. How many of you have seen? No answers, then I suggest you might not have seen. Is that correct? Or am I not seeing any response over here? Okay, I believe you have not seen. Let me show you. Okay, how will you know who are the team members, ma'am? Okay. Srinidhi, for that, again, I have messaged you need to go to the platform, community platform. Here you need to interact. You have the options of interacting with your people and identify, pitch your idea, share what you want, what is your product, and then you can, what is your complementary skill, and then do. Okay. Okay. So now let me just show you how I only need to submit idea pitch, right? Yeah, you're right, Hiten, but idea pitch will have other elements, but you need to submit only the idea pitch. Okay, now let me show you quickly the where exactly is the simulation. Somebody asked, where is the simulation? If you go to your community, if you come to the community platform, go to the session details over here. You have session 1, now session 2 as well. Session 1 has what's in it for me. Why should I be part of it? Simulation. Under this simulation, if you click, you have the simulation, what it covers, and there is a clickable link. Click here. It will take you to this simulation part. Simulation. Do you see? If you have not gone here, if you don't go, you will not get it. So you need to go to this particular page. Okay. So now next is tutorials. What I was talking about. Concept. Go to the concept. And every concept, there is something called framework tutorials, because these are the frameworks that you need to work on. So framework tutorials, it will take you the framework tutorials, which has the concept and an explainer in detail, short videos, which will help you. Like you to go to the, suppose you bought a new gadget and you need to know how exactly I need to do, go to the YouTube, similar way this has been created. Now, if you go to Let's Start, you have all these videos of this problem statement canvas. And if you click, for example, if you click on problem, then you have concept step-by-step guide. This is the place how to fill problem statement canvas is been explained. Now, if you click here, this is the guiding prompts with a short video about how to do that. Okay. So please, you need to this is going to help you to, number 1, understand concept in detail. Number 2, how to fill those templates step by step. Also, you will have on session 3, which is going to be activated by tomorrow, mostly by tomorrow end of the day. That will have a session on how to fill idea pitch template. That also will have, but you need to go there to identify what should you do when you are filling the idea pitch in detail. Okay. Okay. So
Chandan, one of the questions which is coming up again and again is that
Okay.
Is it that I need to pitch on those 4 ideas that were there or on my own idea? So guys, as Chandan,
Yeah, I have.
as Chandan reiterated, if you've got a sorted out idea, then go ahead and pitch on that. If you're still working with 5, 6 ideas in the air, then it would be best to pick up one of those 4 which you're already working on, because it will give you an opportunity to test something which is already there, and it will help you learn the concept, so that you can put the concept into practice whenever you are doing with your actual idea. All right, so yeah, that's all. And where to find these canvases and all that, Chandan just explained it. Chandan, you explained it, right, about where to
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So Joham, you have mentioned it again. It is there on the platform. All right, so go onto the platform, and as Chandan went ahead and said where to look for what stuff, go there and explore a little bit. Yeah, you'll find everything out there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we are getting to the end of the session. In the time, you may type your questions. I'll look into it, but I am opening a poll right now, launching a poll. You will see it on your screen as a pop-up. Please click. I have just opened it. Quickly give your feedback on the session, and we will be we'll see you on next Thursday. In the meantime, let me look into if there are any other questions that we.
So one of the questions which Chandan is there is that, can I pitch as a team? So you can.
Absolutely. You would need to pitch as a team, but your team presentation submission should be only one. Every team member do not submit the same presentation. So if you're forming a team, because you have the options of when you submit, if you go to the submission tab, there it asks your team member's name and only one submission per team. Again, if you are creating the team, one submission per team. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Okay, I am now ending the poll. Few more. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yes, Anjani, you can do the lip sync. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and end. Okay, great.
So please keep sending your feedback in terms of how do we improve. All right, and we'll try our level best to incorporate that in not just future sessions but future programs as well. All right, so thank you very much. Good evening, and see you same time next week. Bye.